In a small village lived a boy named James. He dreamed of something bigger. He saw a towering mountain in the distance, a symbol of his dreams. The village was peaceful, with people living their lives, working the land and raising children. But the boy's dreams called him beyond this simple life. The elders gathered around the fire, sharing warnings of the cursed mountain. They said it was impossible to conquer. Night after night, the boy dreamed of standing at the top of the mountain, feeling the wind of success. He couldn't let go of that vision. One morning, he finally decided, "Today, I begin." He packed his bag and left the village, the first step toward his destiny. He wrote in his notebook, "Day 1, today I begin." A simple note, but the beginning of something much bigger. As the sun rose, so did his spirit. He left the safety to the village, stepping into the unknown. The first obstacle was the rough terrain. The path was steep and challenging, but the boy kept moving forward. The storm came unexpectedly, the wind howling, the rain pouring, but the boy did not stop. He knew that the road to success was never easy. There were moments when doubt crept in. He wondered if he could really make it, but he refused to quit. Each step was harder than the last, but he climbed on. The climb never gets easier, you just get stronger. After days of struggle, he reached the top. The mountain that once seemed impossible now lay beneath his feet. He returned to the village, but he was no longer the same. He had conquered the mountain, and in doing so, he had conquered himself. The boy had changed. He was no longer just a dreamer, he was a doer. He had pushed through doubts and fears. The villagers noticed this. He was no longer the same boy who once wandered the fields. Now he had a purpose. He shared his journey with the villagers, and with each word, he inspired them to dream bigger, to push beyond their limits. He spoke to the younger generation, telling them that with consistency, they could achieve anything. The seeds of inspiration he planted began to grow. A young girl, inspired by his journey, packed her bag ready to take her first step. Soon, more villagers began to follow in his footsteps. The mountain no longer seemed impossible, it was simply a challenge to overcome. The journey was still hard, the path was rough, and failure seemed inevitable. But with every setback came a small victory. He reached the first plateau, proving to himself that his consistency paid off. His victory sparked something inside others. New dreamers weren't born, and the mountain began to seem more like a goal than an obstacle. The mountain, which once seemed impossible, now appeared conquerable. It became a symbol of all the dreams waiting to be achieved. As he climbed, he reached out to help others. Along the way, success was never about reaching the top alone, it was about bringing others with you. Together, they reached the top, and together, they saw the world differently. They realized the summit was not the end, it was just the beginning. Years later, the boy had become the teacher. His lessons about consistency and about never giving up spread to the next generation. The village had changed. It was thriving not just because of the boy's effort, but because of the ripple effect he had started. And so the journey came full circle. He had climbed the mountain and helped others do the same. He had built more than just a legacy, he had built a community. The lessons of consistency were passed down through generation. What once started with a single boy's dream now echoed in the hearts of many. New dreamers rised, each facing their own mountain, but now they had the courage to climb it. The journey was still hard, the weather was unforgiving, the path difficult, but she knew one thing: she could not quit. She reached the peak, her heart full of pride. The mountain had just not been conquered, it had transformed her. Now it was his turn. The mountain stood before him, a symbol of his dreams, ready to be conquered. The village was no longer the same, it had transformed, with every person playing in their part in this ongoing legacy of consistency. For each new generation, the mountain symbolized more than just a challenge, it was a journey toward growth. As time went on, the boy became the old man, watching a new generation of dreamers climb the mountain. The impact of the boy's journey never faded. The village, its people, and the mountain all stood as testaments to the power of dreams and consistency. The final legacy was not the mountain itself, but the stories shared by the fire, the lessons passed down, and the life changed. And so, a new dreamer was born. The cycle continued, and the mountain stood ready for yet another dreamer. The journey has no end. It was a cycle, a story that would never truly end, because every dreamer's journey was only the beginning of the next.